1 minute. We're working on it. We got to get some of the other streams together. Sweet. We got all three. We got all three screens here together for tonight. If you can't tell, Friday night, I'm not necessarily a 9 to 5 days a week kind of guy, but everyone else, Friday, big day. We all made it through the week. Anyways, you can tell we're live in the house. This is actually a 1912 or so farmhouse. Little rough in here if you can't tell. Finally, after all this time, it's probably been 2 or 3 years, somebody threw a rock through that window. We just rent this place. And they threw a rock through there. The landlord finally started fixing it like 2 or 3 days ago. And look, he still has a lot of work. So you can see there's old blinds, step ladders, and all that other stuff. Don't worry about that. The house looks pretty tough, but 1914, 1912 farmhouse. A little rough around here. We're not too fancy, but we're just going to kind of talk about some stuff. You can see Alex is on there. Hammer right there. How you doing tonight, man? Heck yeah, we're just, you know what? Sometimes you kind of just like to talk to other people. It's been a long winter. I've had a lot of work. Nobody ever likes to hear that, but we're finally getting back into it. I just figured I got some videos coming up. I got some other things, and you make a YouTube video. Hey, man, shout out to you. Catching bigs all the time there, Alex. Totally awesome. You're a hammer. Big crappies. I heard there's people out on the river already. The Mississippi, Alex. So heck yeah. We're just, we want to talk about what I'm doing. Once again, you got to listen to me. We tried kind of half-ass here the last little bit, tried to get a couple other people on. Didn't work out so well, but oh well. So we're just kind of talking about what I got going on for 24. Sucks for me to talk all the time. I love the question, Alex. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We're dealing with the landlord trying to fix that window after a couple years. That's life stuff. Pretty junky house. You can see there's not a lot going on, but it's got a big garage to put the boat in. And we're having our new Glarus. So pretty sweet. I just wanted to spend some time because, you know, heck, it isn't the same without hearing from other people, other bass fishermen. We're getting ready for ice fishing tomorrow. Pretty excited for that. Hopefully we can figure out somewhere to catch some crappies. I know Alex probably has some juice holes right now. Seemed to always be posting some big ones, but kind of wanted to go over maybe my tournament schedule, some of the other stuff that I got going on. Yeah, me too, man. I am ready for open water. It's pretty crazy here in January that all of a sudden you got to start thinking about open water. Like thinking about getting a different boat again, and now things really, thought maybe April I'd be able to get a different one. Now things have started to have to go a lot faster, but I love the questions, man, for sure. Answer as many as I can, because just listening to me talk, that's why I do this. Why the heck would I just put up a YouTube video and all people can do is comment? So love hearing from people. So we're just going to talk about, I had a couple things going on. One was just kind of, I had a YouTube video coming up. Nowadays, I feel like I'm the old guy around, definitely the old guy around everywhere and everything I do. So started a long time ago. Super fortunate when I was really young. I had some YouTube videos going around back in kind of the way that I got started, the Pro-Am days. Pro-Am days really started a lot of people off. Scott Bonham, the guy that runs Champs Tour now, he started on the Pro-Am. And so I got some videos from the Pro-Ams a long time ago, kind of my take and on some other things like that from what happened long ago, my days, how I got to be me. My story is the way I would put it. I've been going through old photos. I've been going through just random stuff. You want to here's kind of like what my story's going to be. Old, trophies. You had a whole room, anybody that fishes a bunch. This one actually super, if you can see that, that's a second place trophy up in I Falls up on Rainy Lake with my boy Reed. Lives now in a place just like this. And it's 2 lures right there up there that the Woody Woods up there when we were up there gave to us. The sweet orange Rapala. Do you like that one? He's like, yeah, this is what you got to use to catch smallmouth. Use this old Rapala. Okay, I'll put that, but it makes it good now. Second place, we're within about half a pound or less, winning that one. You get the little trophy. If you're second. You get the giant one. And then, just some old Pro-Am ones. Second place. First place amateur. Another first place, Balsam Lake. So I just got a video kind of coming out. Here's this old one from a long time ago. That's a pretty cool one from the Pro-Am when I won a boat. And you have no idea what my flow is now, how bad I want to win a boat again. Champs Tour. So that's it. Just wanted to talk about, I got those videos coming up. That's cool. People really like them. I'll probably make some more of those. It just kind of went over the old Pro-Ams and stuff like that. What I did a long time ago to where I'm at now. Not that I'm the best ever. Long, hard struggle. Got my butt kicked in the Strand Series or whatever it was for 2 years. Kind of changed my tune. I know what I did wrong, and that was spending too much time. I wish I just would have went in, hindsight's 20/20. I wish I would have spent more time just fishing by myself and not doing so much research. Since I'm such a bass nerd, bass fishing's been so big in my life for so long, and just fishing, I spent way, way, way too much time researching. This guy caught him in this pocket however long ago. Well, those places are just not good for when the tournaments finally come around. Not good at all. So I wanted to talk about my story. What the heck? It's been ups and downs, but we had some good years. I was super fortunate to win the boat a long time ago. I'm ready for another one. And so, drum roll, it was 2024. We're just pretty much fishing the same stuff. Fishing Blackfish Classic again. We had one good year a couple of years ago. We had another dang close. Nobody wants to talk about it. We were second place for Anglers of the Year. We tied for the Denny's the one year, and Denny's, it's a tough group down there. So we tied. We did share partners a little bit. We shared with Chris and Kyle. They took it over, those 2 early ones. Tough to beat down there. Tough crew to compete against down there on Minnetonka. But, so we didn't do as hot for the Blackfish, but we were able to get an invite. So we got an invite. Me and Kyle Minke, once again, I think we signed up the other day. We got the Blackfish Classic again. Tonka changes so much. It's so crazy. The way that I fish Minnetonka now is completely changed the way it was from years ago. For, pitch and foil and all that stuff, I almost don't even look at that kind of stuff anymore. You got to get a little more creative. It gets so much pressure nowadays. And there's obviously a bunch of fish on Minnetonka, but you really gotta be really good, And one of the things we didn't show too much on our YouTube video, we wouldn't have done as good as we did last year at the Blackfish Classic if Kyle wasn't so good at live scope. If he wasn't that good, there's basically most of our fish we caught there. We're on the live scope, and it's crazy. That's a huge thing nowadays. These electronics you're in or on. I ran that 360. I ran live scope last year, and there's a bunch of stuff that I learned. I got there in the fall. It was key in the fall, throwing some swimmers and stuff like that down on the river. So key in the fall for smallmouth. And I learned some tricks with largemouth on that live scope last year that you can definitely see them. You can definitely see them no matter where they are, as long as you got the depth settings right and you got some things dialed in. It's key. But it's not the end of all. We also fished last year. We fished the Frankie's 2-day Pro-Am. We fished that for years. We won it one time before. Live scope, no good for that one. We saw a bunch of fish down there and we couldn't get them to bite. So even as good as Kyle is for that kind of stuff, live scope's not the end of everything. Yep, good call, Alex. Yep, for sure. You definitely got to use it. Maybe a little less, not on the Champs Tour and stuff like that. But you can just see the way things are going. You better have one. I was very skeptical for a long time. You can definitely tell that's a huge key factor. You can see, I think people ask why Noah Schultz is so good. I think it's embracing that technology, staying one step ahead. Dude's got, and he can flip on a dime, it seems to be the way he's fishing, and be confident on that for a lot of days. I think that's a key thing. People ask that a lot, and just, I talked to him for a little bit one tournament last year, and but just watching him, some of the people I fish with, they're like, why are you watching that person? I'm trying to look to see how they're fishing the water and kind of what they're doing. That might not be what I'm going to do, but you kind of have that visualization. Maybe it's an old school thing about kind of where people are fishing, where they're at for that I-Falls deal. My buddy Reed, probably not watching, maybe not, but he's like Jeff Gustafson, classic winner, however many years ago. He won the Classic. He fished the I-Falls deal. We beat him out for that one, but he had a pretty good bag the first day. And I was definitely watching where he was at. There, he was fishing these kern seams, and the guy was with Reed. Great dude. I would have never even been close to second place. That second place we got up at I-Falls on Rainy Lake, all thanks to him. But he's like, why are you watching Gussie? I'm like, dude can catch him, like trying to figure out what he's up to. And you could just see he was fishing, run down to the next kern seam. He's definitely kern seam related. Same thing we were doing for what the kern flow was then. I guess I'm not giving too much away on those, but it's definitely something that you keep your eyes out for, is what other people are doing. Even, with that live scope, I think Minnesota's pretty far behind. There's a lot of people that got them and don't know how to use them, but for smallmouth, it's the deal. We're not going to go into live scope talk. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Alex. Cool. Good luck, man. Keep it up. So yeah, Champs Tour this year. So getting back to things, not on my diatribe on anything, but we're fishing the Champs Tour again. We got the Blackfish Classic, Frankie's. Not for sure if we're going to do the Greenhorns. Some of the kids around in our area were trying to revive the Frankie's. Used to have a big time tournament on Tuesdays. They were trying to revive the Tuesdays ones. So that may be around. That may be a possibility. I know a lot of people in Minnesota hopped into the Bassmasters Opens and some of that stuff. And if I can't compete in the Champs Tour, I don't think it's 100% the kind of deal that fits into my style. I don't think it fits into my style, but if I can compete in that kind, it's tough for me to go up and try again the AAA level, which I want to. I want to get I want another crack at the Strens, or whatever you want to call them, an FLW or the Opens, whatever it was. I still want. I'm not that old yet. I want another chance at that. So, anyways, we're back around again. Take a refreshment break. We got the Champs Tour this year again. My boy, I'm not sure if I think me and Kyle Shuda are gonna fish that one together, or maybe stay a couple of times together. So I think he's obviously back on board with that one. He wants it pretty bad. Just talking to him about getting another chance to. He wants another chance to get there and win that Angler of the Year. So, big time. It's definitely coming for everyone, and I think the schedule sets up for him for sure with what they put out there. The wild card is definitely the St. Croix River. Not going to get into that right now, but we're going to talk about, we're going to fish the Champs Tour again. They decide, once again, they're going with the Hot Lake. Lake Okoboji, or Okoboji, a hot lake right now. Well, one of the things Champs Tour likes to do, they like you to fish behind people, to share water. Definitely not my style. I can tell when they do that one. Okoboji. Been there a super long time ago. Okoboji's not a very big lake. And if you checked out Champs Tour last year, 65 boats, like even on somewhere like Whitefish Chain when we were there. Fished real small when you put 65 boats. If they split in half, who knows what they're going to do. It's a long ways out. That one's going to be interesting, but very residential, which means docks. That's what that thing's all about. All those guys I saw, Boss Hart and some of those guys. Artie's going to be tough, obviously. Kyle, Noah, all those guys. A lot of people fish them. It's going to be a big thing again this year, would be that Champs Tour. I've been there one time. Funny thing is, like I said, I don't want to do too much research on stuff. It hurt me for the Strens and all that a long time ago. But just looked at like 2 or 3 YouTube videos since it's been so long since I've been to Boji, and everybody's fishing docks. No, why would anybody go off the bank, you know? So you can see how that's going to be. We'll see with 65 boats fishing behind each other. We'll see. There is smallmouth in Okoboji too as well, but that one's going to be a tough one. That one's going to be another grinder one, exactly like Big Stone last year, or different fishery than Big Stone. Very, very, very different fishery. It's got big ones, but it's a small fishery. You know, maybe it's only 3,000 acres. It's not very big, not for 65 boats. So that one's going to be interesting. We're fishing that one again. So definitely a roadblock I got in my head is fishing that kind of stuff. The couple of tournaments that I did good for the Champs Tour this year, they gave you the option where they split the lakes. And I did a lot better in those ones just because getting past that mental block of going behind somebody else, being the 5th guy to go down that stretch of docks. It's you got to keep catching fish. It's definitely a different format than what a lot of people fish. So anyways, no rant on that one. Trying not to rant. So we got Okoboji, second one. I did sign up for the Pro-Am again. Definitely what I grew up fishing. Love that one. I love Mille Lacs, but it is a heartbreaker, and it's a heartbreaker for me, and it's already broke my heart once for the Champs Tour, and like even for the team tournaments we fish, it's been 50-50. That's just the way that I fish Mille Lacs. That time of year, it's going to be very interesting. It could be wide open. There could be smallies still on beds. There could be, you know, the way this year's gone, they could be just transitioning out. But it'll be cool to fish top waters and all that other stuff if that plays, and compared to what everybody knows Mille Lacs is now. So that one will be cool. But we're back to an 8-fish limit. After last year, I can tell you, wanted it so bad you can't believe on Whitefish Chain when we started out. That one. I wanted to say, if you're going to have a 8-fish limit, you're going to have to go through me. And I didn't do it. And I want my chance again this year again. I may only get 2 or 3 days out on Mille Lacs, but the Champs Tour doesn't fit to my style. I want that one. I really want that one bad. You know, to be able to get a chance to do that on a place like Mille Lacs too with smallies, that'd be something. But man, that whitefish one was a killer. You know, I can tell you we did fish a little bit different. You know, you thought a lot about what I did. I knew we ground it out. It was very interesting. We definitely got to fish the way that I like to. We found those smallmouth. We found some other stuff. And I want that one back really bad. You don't know what that is, especially when you get to see the score tracker and you just lose out. You know, we missed some fish on docks. We actually spent a lot of time fishing docks and never caught anything. And, you know, hindsight's 2020. We caught one last good one at the end with like 15, 20 minutes left. We could have stayed on those group of fish out on the main lake, those smallmouth, and maybe called up a couple times. But man, there were so many walleyes down there. I just chose I wasn't going to keep messing with them and wasting time casting at walleyes because the walleyes were super aggressive. So bring it back around again. Event number 2, we're going to Gull Lake again. Once again, another shallow water fishery. We'll see if the deep bite plays this time. Man, was it not happening last time when we were there in July or August? I think we were there in August and the deep bite still wasn't good. Maybe it'll be a little bit better. We're there July 16th. but there's definitely going to be that shallow bite. Setting up good for all those guys, people that did good last year, because we basically fished a shallow water schedule last year for the Champs Tour. Once again, comment, love comments. Otherwise, I'm just here yapping. But I just figured I'd kind of talk about some of the YouTube stuff I got coming on. So, live in a great place to anybody that's connecting in lately. And then the next one is the St. Croix River, not too far from where I live. Actually spent some time there last fall. I spent quite a few days there even before the schedule came out there. I spent, I don't know, number of outings, but it's going to be a different time of year. It's going to be there in August. Obviously it's a river, so it's going to be plenty of shallow fish. I don't know how big it's going to fish for the way that is. If you fish any river, it gets real small real fast. And there isn't a lot of structure that's in the middle, unless there's roamers and stuff like that. I don't know how big of groups there are out in the middle of the St. Croix. It doesn't fish like a river, definitely. The stretch they're going to. The one thing about the Champs Tour is you only get half the time to go anywhere. So to be able to run somewhere, if you can even run down into Hastings or whatever that is, you're going to lose an hour or more of your time for one half. And that's a big, the good and the bad of that tour is also they're pushing you back together. And I think on a river, it's going to be definitely shallow water people that are going to make it happen. So we got Champs Tour going on. They'll reveal the championship the 27th. We'll see how that goes. If they do the Champs Tour once again, who knows? It's the end of August again. And we don't know what we're going to do for the night ones, if we're going to do the greenhorns again and stuff like that. Possibilities there. But we'll see. So that's kind of the Champs Tour. I know a bunch of people jumped into it. Weather's great. Fired up. Bassmasters Open started. Got some Minnesota guys. We got the MLF started. Fishing's happening. Trying to get out ice fishing the last little bit right here. But we're just kind of wanted to talk about, I got a sweet underwater YouTube video coming up. That should be a good one. Can't wait for that. And can't wait for it all. So we're going to have that underwater one, me and Dave. Probably not going to film tomorrow whenever I talk to my buddies, see how that is. But ice fishing's here. Regular fishing's coming real fast. Going to have to start thinking about things, what electronics we're going to run on the boat, since that's so key. With only the 360 and live scope last year, we'll see what we're going to do this year. So anybody have any questions out there? A couple people watching, not really. Most people are having dinner and stuff like that. Bad timing by me, but we just been working, haven't had a lot of time for fishing. We got a couple things, couple new rods. We got just sold off some Shimano old school Siticas, so we can be ready for the year. Can't wait for that. So hopefully we'll get that all together. But so yeah, we're starting we're going to get back to about the same thing again this year. We're going to try to maybe go with a perspective on the live scope, just more than just 360. It's not really the way that I like to fish, but definitely we're dialing it back a little bit onto how fast I go. I can say the last couple of years of me slowing down has actually helped in the Champs Tour when you think that it would be going faster. Champs Tour is a weird thing. You can see how slow Jim Moynier goes, like snail speed. Like, I don't know how I could even fish that slow to people that are just like run and gun. And I feel like the way that I fish now for the Champs Tour is kind of like an in-between. I started out the first year I was there was just trying to burn through stuff, the Champs Tour, and it just didn't quite work out. I fished a little bit too sloppy, I think, the way it was. You got to keep catching fish, and you had to slow down a little bit to catch those more fish, casting back at docks and stuff. It's kind of a different kind of deal as the way that tournament goes, you have to be catching fish. So, so I just kind of want to hop in and talk about that and talk about, if people like my thing on starting in tournament stories and some of my trophies I've had. And there'll be a ton of talking about my old books that, like I said, that I've had forever. I was over at my buddy Kyle's house the other day talking about some tournament that he won a super long time ago. I still had it on. We got into a debate as to how many pounds he had and how he did. And I just remember is that same line about kind of thinking about where people are fishing. And I still remembered where Kyle was at. He was I could remember the pockets he was fishing in because that's kind of what I do. The way I fish is kind of like following kind of what other people are doing. And so obviously in the Champs Tour that helps out. You can look at the score tracker and see how people are doing. I can tell you the Champs Tour when we were there on Whitefish, there's a time when else and I saw 2 dock guys come out of an area. And so I knew it wasn't going on. And then I saw them go back in there and start going up the scoreboard like that. I knew docks were going off. But that was my bad call on not going back there to go to those docks. So, what are you going to do on that one? Any questions by any comments? Once again, just talking to myself. Audio good by everybody? We'll take that as a yes. So yeah, we just got some ice fishing going on. We actually got a couple new rods. We probably need for casting bobbers and stuff, people for crappies and stuff like that is like a hair jig rod, a medium light one. That's the rod you kind of want to use. So I got another one of those coming in for this year because we're obviously going to be out on Mille Lacs for that Pro-Am. And tested out a bunch of spinning reels last fall. I went through the Daiwas and Shimanos and stuff. And I was a little surprised that Flugers were actually very, very light compared to some of those other ones. I can't believe how much heavier, can't remember, it was a Shimano or something. There's a couple different Shimanos. Thanks to Brent. On those, they're a little heavier. They're super rock solid, but I used those ones a little bit. I used some Daiwas, which I was so on maybe because they were like lower end Daiwas that they weren't as good as I thought they were going to be. So I tested out those, and I think I'm going to try to. There's a couple other Flugers I wanted to try. For me, it's more about the weight. I can get a Fluger for like $100, $120. It's really lightweight. They decent, besides that handle deal that we had with. Let's see. Yeah, I'll show you what they are. We got the fishing room together. So I've talked about it before. The reel handles to poop on these, the Supreme XTs, I think they're called. Used them a bunch last year, and then they go to poop. So I think we're going to do something like they have like a next step down. We're going to try that one. And then we're going to try, there's some other ones to try. I think there's another Daiwa one that I got after that we're going to try. That'll be good because I use spinning reels a lot. You got it, like especially up in Minnesota, you got to have some that are trusty for you. So we kind of figured a little bit out of that last fall. We got really into the live scope and throwing swim baits and stuff for smallmouth, which was pretty sweet. I actually spent a fair amount of time last fall just using live scope on walleyes and stuff like that, just to get accustomed for seeing them and all kinds of stuff like that. That was pretty cool. So using that live scope for walleyes, and then just getting more time with it, getting the size of the screen. was a key. There's plenty of times where me and Kyle were fishing last year, and he's got this giant 16 screen. So fish that looks like, like a 4-pounder on my screen's only like a 1 or 2-pounder or sunfish on his screen. So just getting that size down. On my screen, I only run that 10. I run that 10 on there. That one's pretty cool. So getting accustomed to the fishing with it, getting accustomed to how big fish are on your live scope is a pretty big deal for what you're casting at, because you don't want to sit there and cast at a school crappies. You don't want to cast at, some sunfish. So just getting a scope of how far you got to cast and stuff like that is a huge part of it. Seeing how they act is a big one as well. So we spent some time last fall just getting accustomed to that, because you don't want to fall behind. One of the things you can hear all the time is like Moynihan and some of these guys talking about when they succeeded the best in fishing tournaments and stuff like that was they're staying on the cutting edge. They're staying above everybody else. They're finding a bait, even the area that I fish at, finding a bait that maybe nobody else is using helps out so much more because the fish haven't saw it, because a lot of the spots are ones that people know about. So you're just fishing for fish that have saw a lot of things. So that's a big deal, is staying on top of things. And it's funny, just like listening to a lot of people talking about staying cutting edge. And I think a lot of people that I know, they've stayed top tier because they're staying with the cutting edge. They're staying with the times. And I realize that that's what I got to do right now to get into the fishing swing of things. Is I got to start checking out some of that stuff. I got to start getting ready. I got to start preparing myself for the year by just getting accustomed to new baits and stuff like that I didn't fish last year. I got to start fishing some new baits to come along for the next year, because that's a huge thing of staying on, especially in our areas in Minnesota, is having different baits, staying ahead of other people. There's funny, last year, I was looking through pictures about Minnetonka, and there's one of the guys that did really good last year. And all of a sudden I looked, and he had a trolling motor on the back of the boat. And I was like, definitely the only one that I see doing that. So that's staying ahead of everyone else. I'm sure boat positioning was super key for that guy, or maybe he's using forward-facing sonar. I haven't really got a chance. I don't know enough people on Minnetonka that are fishing down there as much anymore. But it was pretty crazy to see that he had that second trolling motor on the back. So staying ahead of everyone else, especially in Minnesota, using something else, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're only going to get about those results or a little less. You got to use different baits, different techniques, and you definitely got to keep trying other stuff to keep getting in, Just like listening to Moynihan and some of the other people, it was just like how much time he spent after the I-Falls deal, the Fort Francis deal, that he would spend all kinds of time up there trying to learn. Like, this is you can tell right now. I don't know. I didn't look at the Bassmasters things for today, but dude's at the top of his game, I would say, still to this day. And it's spending that time. There's a thing I talked about last year's Big Stone when we were there for a Champs Tour. We're staying at the same campground, and he came in, and he's, where's my spot? He'd just driven from the Potomac all the way back. And pretty crazy that he drove, 20 hours back there. And then you saw him for the next, I went to bed. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And he was still looking at his screens trying to get ready for the next day. That guy's still got that much for fishing, staying ahead. He has still the desire to do that. That was beyond me, that Moynihan could sit there and stare at his screens and prepare himself. And he did that. He had one day of practice, and then he had the next night, and he did the same thing in the middle of the dark, with his lights on, looking at his graph and trying to figure stuff out. That's a guy, he's got that desire. He's trying to look for other things, that map key, trying to get yourself, I think that's, for me and for like some of the people that I know, is that's a huge part of the thing. When people say the mental game of the sport of fishing and stuff like that, that's a big part. And some of that is knowing, maybe not less, if you're not a person that's a doc talk guy and sorting that kind of stuff out, then maybe you just doing map study is your game instead of looking at where people got them before. You know, like I said before, that's what's hurt me in the past. So, any questions or anything out there? Once again, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. That was, you know, once again, just talking about staying ahead of the game and what you got to do. Because I realized that I slipped, and I can realize that there's definitely some baits that I got to try out to make sure that I stay up wherever, you know. Otherwise, I'm just going to fall down. That you got to keep adapting and keep looking at different things, because if you do the same thing, you're not going to stay the same. We had kind of enough, not the best year last year, but it was okay. You know, I mean, that Pro-Am was a big one. We had, but there's no wins. Well, nope, me and Kyle had that one win, our local one, but there's no, you know, we didn't fish the way that I was hoping for the year. So we had to look for some more ways to go for next year. Looks like a lot of people jumped off. Does anyone have any questions? So I chill for a minute to see if anybody's got any more questions. It's kind of just an impromptu one. Like I said, if people kind of like my YouTube ones about kind of my story, you can let me know from YouTube if you like my story ones, or what people are fishing this year. Just let me know. Like maybe we'll see at the Champs Tour this year. Maybe there's some people I didn't see on the list. So yeah, we're kind of just wanted to kind of talk about it. Like I said, last minute, tried to get a couple people on, but it didn't work. House is a little rough in here. You can't tell from the landlord, but we're looking to fish quite a bit of stuff next year. Once again, about the same things. Just Tonka, Grankies, Champs Tour, but pretty excited for doing that. And yeah, has anybody got any questions out there? We're kind of winding her down since, you know, just me talking to myself once again, enjoying my beverages. But we got some baits, we got some things, we got the Champs Tour to look forward to. Ready to see Kyle again for the year. That'll be interesting. He already said he's gunned up for tearing him up again this year, which he's going to be a tough one to beat. So yeah, we got a couple of those things going on. So we're pretty excited. I'm excited. I want another chance at the Champs Tour. We've never even broke the top 20, I don't think, in standings overall. So I think that's a big thing. I got to get past my mindset to get away from all that. Oh, what up, George? Or whatever Shuda calls you. How's it down in Missouri, man? It's got to be dang warm if it's 50-something up here. Probably going to be on beds in no time. So anyways, yeah, we're just kind of talking about the year and what we got going on. It's getting excited. Got to start thinking about boat time here. Got to think about ice fishing for a little bit, because the ice is coming off fast from what I'm hearing. Only a couple days. Nice. Yeah. Well, we're still like 4 or 5 hours from Canada up here, man, and it's 40s, 50s right now. They'll be on beds in no time. Sweet. Hell yeah. Good to see you, man. It's been a while. I thought, yeah, that's right. I was at Kyle's house the other day. He said you're possibly coming up or something. He lives on the lake now. So yeah, we're setting up for the year. We got some things going on. We got some decisions to make. You know, like I said, like I realized I wasn't going to do those AAAs again unless I could compete around here. We still haven't. So it's unfortunate, but what are you going to do, man? Like if it doesn't ever happen again, I don't get a chance. I guess it is what it is. I wasn't a good enough fisherman to go back again. But like I said, we got some things coming out. We got the kind of my story and how I grew up fishing and stuff like that. And if people like them, I'll probably make some more about some other tournaments and things that we did good. But We got the trophies out. We went through that. We've been going through pictures. It's funny how crazy I was into fishing a long time ago with the, like I said before, with my fishing logbooks and stuff like that, and breaking down like super bass nerd about things. Pretty crazy looking back now for how old I am, about how excited I am about things. Back then, to break down lakes, to look back to see me breaking down Minnetonka, fishing there one day in my life, and all these scenarios of stuff, you know, when fishing was mystical and stuff, and when you couldn't get information from anybody because nobody is going to tell you. You know, it's a lot harder to get by with that nowadays, that you can't, you know, people are going to learn, find out, and once it does, it spreads. So back in the days when people didn't tell you anything, changed a lot of things. People could dominate for quite a while. So, heck yeah. So if nobody's got any questions or anything, probably going to enjoy the rest of my Friday evening. Good to see you on there, man. Catch them this year down in Missouri. And appreciate everybody coming to listen to me because, you know, fact, Friday night. I'm no big time guy, just blue collar guy trying to catch a couple fish. So, heck yeah, thanks for participating. Maybe next time, like I said, we'll try to make it so we get a couple other players on here or whatever it is. Make it a little more interesting so there's a little more trash talk and stuff like that. But kind of just talking about how things are going for the year. So thanks for everybody coming on. Hopefully see you again, man. And have a good Friday night. Good luck fishing, everyone. We'll see you next time. Dang it.